Hello everyone, thanks for joining and much appreciated, and welcome back to those subscribers. If you do fancy supporting the channel and you haven't already subscribed, just click the button, that'd be great, thanks very much. It was New Year's Eve, well it was actually New Year's afternoon, and I had three things coming in my favour. I had an empty house, I had 2 spare hours and a Shudder subscription. That, to be fair, I don't think I really get the best out of. I have mentioned it before, but I have a real special place in my heart for great horror movies. The issue I have is I'm the only one in my house who actually likes horror movies. So my opportunity to really indulge in what I love is generally few and far between. So when there is an opportunity, I absolutely take it. So I opened my Shudder subscription and went to the popular movies section, and there it was, Speak No Evil. It had a great looking cover. Now this did get a little bit confusing initially when I went to Wiki for a bit of information before I committed to it. And there appears to be 2 Speak No Evils, a Danish and Dutch version and the US version. Luckily for me, the one I was looking at was the original, which was a good start. The fact that it's been remade for me also bodes well as well. Not because the remake will be any good, and I'm not planning to find out by the way, I'm not a remake kind of guy, but a terrible movie doesn't tend to be remade, well not often anyway. And then I looked at the running time and Happy Days, that was sensible too, so I dove straight in. So let's look at the background of this movie. Speak No Evil is from 2022 and it's a psychological horror film directed by Christian Tafferup and a screenplay he co-wrote with his brother Mads. Filming took place in Denmark and the Netherlands and a little bit in Italy. And most of the film is actually shot in English. There are some scenes in Danish and Dutch. I'm not quite sure there's a remake actually, because most of this is in English, so why make an English speaking remake? Who's to know that one? The plot's simple enough. A couple, Bjorn and Louise, and their young daughter Agnes go on holiday in Tuscany in Italy. While lounging around by the pole, Bjorn is approached by a man for the use of the chair that's next to him where he's keeping his belongings, and he immediately gives it up. He then sees the man join his family, placing the chair and using the chair just to keep his t-shirt on, and this kind of indicates the uncomfortable power play between these two. Bjorn and Louise soon formally meet Patrick and Karen and their son Abel, who is unable to speak due to a short tongue. They spend more time together throughout the rest of the holiday and slowly kind of get to know each other. Bjorn and family then return home and shortly afterwards they receive a postcard from Patrick and Karen, who are their newfound friends, asking them to spend a weekend in the Dutch countryside. They're not entirely convinced and I don't really know if it's the right thing to do here. But their friends kind of soon nudge them to be a bit more adventurous, so they pack their bags and they head over to Holland. And what you'd expect to be a seemingly innocent and friendly weekend getaway quickly turns into a nightmare. The social tension really starts to become unsettling as the interactions between the two families grow, and it becomes more awkward and bizarre, and the situation in fact becomes darker and darker and really spirals into something really twisted and frankly downright disturbing, but no more spoilers from me here. I've mentioned this before, but I really do think the best horror movies generally have a really great theme at the heart of it, and this one is no different. Well, I think you could look at this film from a few different angles, but to me it has 2 clear themes. It's about social boundaries and relationships. Now when you look at the boundaries, it's about how some people are really willing to tread over them, while others are too polite and nice to stand up and do anything about it. A lot of this film kind of shows the Danish couple watching their host become more and more, want for a better word, challenging as their behaviour becomes more unsettling. And they watch and don't do anything about it. Like for example, they start watching him do things like making out in public, playing really loud music, drunk driving, even inviting their young daughter into their bed. For me, one of the most uncomfortable parts of the film I found actually was when the hosts keep trying to feed the guest's wife over and over again meat. They know she's a vegetarian, but that didn't stop them. And it kind of really highlights the power play here. The film also shines a light on Bjorn and Louise's marriage, as it has clearly become stale. It looks like their focus is solely on Agnes, their daughter, which means they've kind of lost touch with each other. They're really awkward together, at times uncomfortable and even unwilling to speak out. Ultimately, the narratively brilliantly toys with the idea of politeness and what is too much. This overriding theme is posted actually at the end when Bjorn asks, "Why are you doing this to us?" To which Patrick simply answers, "Because you let me." So it's about relationships, it's about power play and dynamics between relationships. Not just husband and wife, but between these two couples. When we look at the acting, I think the four leads here are absolutely at the top of their game. The film doesn't rely or need any camera trickery. It doesn't need dark rooms or jump scares to create unbearable tension. And there is unbearable tension in this film. It's all through the subtlety of the acting. It's a nod, a glance, a hushed word. It's things that aren't being said that really pushes the tension to breaking point. And I think it does it so much more effectively than the majority of horror and thrillers at the moment. The four leads truly get under the skin of their characters. And to me, there's never really a showy performance here. It's just wonderful naturalism at its best. I do also have to kind of mention the sound design, which you could argue is a performance in itself. And it's as powerful as the four leads. And without it, I don't think the movie would really work. It's a true masterclass in how you create tension and atmosphere and kind of lead to dread, but without getting in its own way. You don't notice it, but you do notice it, if that makes sense. The film, to me, really felt suffocating, and that's the mark of a great thriller, as the tension slowly builds throughout the movie. Usually with horror thrillers, you kind of know where the film's going to go, don't you? Or you're going to guess what's going to happen. But this one kept me wondering all the way through it. In some places, it's kind of hard to watch, and I had to look away. I couldn't guess what was going to happen, and I certainly didn't see that shocking ending coming, and it frankly left me feeling really unsettled. If I had one complaint about the film, I think on occasion it kind of falls back into some classic horror tropes. And I'm talking about empty gas tanks, ill-timed emergencies. When the increasingly distressed family protagonists are trying to leave and they have a few chances to leave, they keep getting drawn back in. Overall, I don't think it would be fair to say that I enjoyed the movie, and that's strictly down to the subject matter. I thought it was really unusual, brilliantly acted, brilliantly directed, and it stands head and shoulders above most horror thriller type movies of similar themes. It truly is a slow burn incendiary takedown of middle class family life, and I really recommend you watch it. But like me, I suspect you'll only ever want to see it once, and then you're going to leave it well alone. It is truly horrible. It's really nasty, but utterly wonderful. 5 out of 5. Well, that's it from me. Thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, if you could do that, that would be amazing. Help me support this tiny, really homemade little channel. And as always, if you do have any comments or suggestions about what I should be reviewing in the future, please leave them in the comment section. Or alternatively, send me an email, and you'll find my email address in the description. Thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone.